Hello everyone, Pallytime here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day today. I know this stream was like super last minute. I decided 8 minutes ago that I was going to stream this just now. So I apologize to those of you that weren't notified and can't watch this live. But you know, it becomes a video after. This is going to be our long, boring, drawn-out look at Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. We're going to be jumping into try mode. We're going to look. We probably won't try, but we're going to look at every single one of his talents, see if there's a viable build that we can come up with, and I'll give you my first impressions of the character. I will say I did play him at BlizzCon. I got to stream live from the show floor. I'm sure many of you saw that. And he was by far my favorite out of the two characters. We had Varian Wrynn and we had Ragnaros. Ragnaros way better. At least for me. I liked him a lot. There are some like weird inconsistencies that I don't quite understand with his kit, but you know, we could talk about that as we're going on. Another thing I want to point out is that on the on Reddit last night I saw a post that said Ragnaros is just a ton of different shades of orange. Every single one of his skins. Every single one is a different hue of orange. Which I wouldn't have noticed on my own. I wouldn't have noticed that at all. But there are people that are colorblind to orange. And that's kind of a weird problem to have on a hero where you can't appreciate any of his skins or skin tints. Kind of weird. Anyway, we're going to be jumping into try mode. Hope you guys enjoy. Again, this is not going to be for everyone, but for those of you that do enjoy this content, I like to make it for you. Also, I want to address the fact that I haven't streamed in like 3 weeks on this channel. I've been trying to get into a more steady content flow, and for me personally, that means recording stuff when I feel good, when I'm actually full of energy, and that's why video production has kind of kicked up a little bit, because I can actually fit that into my own schedule and I don't have to worry about, well, if I stream it has to be for 2 hours. So I can just record one video and then pop that out. So I'm going to try to come up with a system where I'm really far ahead on videos so we could stream more, but we're working on it. It'll be a little bit. Okay, Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. Ragnaros is pretty important to me for several reasons. Because in the official video for him being added into the Nexus, we got to hear, in an official video, they talked about Deathwing. So we're getting there, team. His dance is the most attractive thing I've ever seen. Ragnaros' Q ability is Empower Sulfurous, because Hammer Smash was just too hard to say. This is a auto attack that is, well, how do I want to word this? I know there's a way to say it, like a technical way to say it. Basically, it resets after your auto attack, so you can auto attack then hit this and you actually get bonus damage out of it, where if you kind of wait you lose DPS. So you always want to auto attack and then immediately hit this button to get more damage out of it. It does hit the area around it, and it is going around the impact target. It is going to heal you for a percentage of the damage that it deals. We'll go ahead and read the official description to make sure I'm not missing anything. Next basic attack is instant, dealing 487 ability damage to an area at level 20, and heals for 20% of the damage dealt. Healing is doubled versus heroes. So in the middle of a team fight, you can actually get a pretty significant amount of sustain just from going in with that ability. His W ability, the Living Meteor, henceforth known as the Meatball, for reasons I'm sure you understand now, because it looks like a meatball. We are going to summon a meteor at the target point that deals 164 damage, then rolls in a target direction, dealing 658 damage per second for 1 point. Okay, what does all that mean? It means it has initial impact damage, like when it falls from the sky, and then when it starts rolling, it's going to deal damage along the length of the meatball. And to me, this is his kind of signature ability. This is the one that I gravitate towards the most. This is the ability that I think most of his talent builds will be focused around. And this is just really fun. Like, it's just really good. It may not seem that good versus a target dummy, But if we go over here versus Arthas, if we can get him to run away, it travels the whole way with Arthas. It just deals damage the whole way. Really, really fun. A lot of Ragnaros' mechanics can be avoided simply by moving. But if you use them at the right time, they can be extremely, extremely, extremely impactful. And that is on a 12-second cooldown. By the way, Empower Soul First is on a 4-second cooldown. Now, the ability that he has that I'm extremely confused about, and I didn't really pay too much attention to it at BlizzCon, but now that I've played him a little bit at home, and I've had time to kind of really look at his kit, his E ability seems really awkward. So yeah, it's called Blast Wave. It has a 10-second cooldown. It's going to ignite Ragnaros or an ally, so we can cast this on an ally if we wanted to. And what it's going to do is increase your movement speed by 25%. We did a little bit of testing with this. It does not stack on top of mounts, so you can't go like super speed. It's only your base run speed that gets increased. And again, keep in mind that if we look at mount speed, it's 130, and this is 125. So you're not going to be able to keep up with someone that is on a mount. But it lasts for 1.5 seconds, which isn't very long at all. And like there's nothing. Look how far we can move in 1.5 seconds. Let's try to get to the boss. Can't even get to the boss in that time. Like it seems really underwhelming. Just that part of it. And then it's going to explode, dealing 228 damage. And man, did they try to sell this ability. And his promotional footage that they released was like, oh, look at him, he's blowing up everything. It doesn't do anything. Watch. Woo! Yeah! It doesn't do anything. So this is 228 damage on a 10-second cooldown as an AoE. Your sulfurous smash is 487 on a 4-second cooldown. So you can use your Q 2 times for what? Quadruple the damage? And the time it takes you to cast E 1 time. It doesn't even kill minions at level 20. I mean, it shouldn't have to. He has other AoEs in his kit. I'm just saying, it feels awkward. I think they... Oh, another aspect of it that makes it feel awkward is the fact that it can be cast on an ally. So, I compare this a lot to Thrall's Wind Fury. When Thrall needs to run away, he just casts a Z, and he can kind of book it out of town really, really quick. There's just that extra step here for Ragnaros because this can be cast on allies. You have to specify who you want this to be cast on. So, let's say these guys are coming in, they're dealing damage to me, and I decide to leave. I have to hit E, select myself, and then run away. Or alternatively, let's go ahead and reset cooldowns. I can self-cast, which is another button press, and then run away. That may sound like I'm just nitpicking here, but it's those small little nuances that really add to a character's personality. And I just don't quite understand why his E ability works in the way it does. But, put that aside, let's forget about that. He's so fucking cool because any fort or keep on the map, I don't think it works on cores. No, it doesn't. Originally, with his design, he was just going to take over the core and shoot abilities from there, I believe. But they kind of envisioned it to do this. This is our ultimate form. And we're going to temporarily gain new abilities. We're going to have 8,762 health, which is, almost double what we have now. And it's going to burn away over 18 seconds. So we can take over this keep, and all of a sudden, all of our abilities are replaced with new ones. We're not able to move from this position, and our health is decreasing over time. Now, if Arthas were to walk up to me and start to slam into me, my health would still go down. Like, we still take damage from that. But this can be a decent way of soaking damage from objectives on, like, Sky Temple. It's not bad. And I can see this being really, really good on Towers of Doom, where you're always going to be in range of someone because that map is so small, and you could just start to deal an astronomical amount of damage from a really, really safe range. Now, I'll show you his abilities. So his Q ability is very similar to what it is while he's walking around, except it's in a frontal cone, and I mean a big frontal cone. I can't really show you in try mode, but this essentially does so much damage. And it's also a stun to everything in this radius as well. And the damage that it does is 371, and it's going to be increased by 25% versus minions, mercenaries, or monsters. Monsters would be the objective minions that kind of hop out on infernal shrines or something like that. His W ability turns into Meteor Shower, so instead of the meatball falling from the sky, we gain a new ability, which shoots projectiles out in a straight line from a point of origination. And this has a 2.5 second cooldown. We do have cooldowns disabled right now, just so I can jump back into this. And his E ability turns into Explosive Rune, which is, once again, another skill shot. It's going to activate on the ground and then explode after a short duration, and that's going to deal 658 damage to non-structure enemies for 1.5 seconds. Once again, damage for all of these is increased versus minions, monsters, and mercenaries. One thing I didn't mention is just the massive range that these abilities have. So we can hit Arthas from over here. On Sky Temple, you can be in the bottom or mid fort and participate in boss kills. You can prevent an enemy team from walking in, zoning them out with these abilities, and still do a lot of damage from utter complete safety, which is awesome. Feels amazing. Again, I know I said I was nitpicking over this E ability. The rest of his kit is so good, and it's so enticing and so captivating. It just seems so weird that this exists. That's all. That's all. It just seems so out of place. Now, this ability is his trait. This is not a heroic ability, and it does have a 100-second cooldown, although there are ways to lower this moving forward as well. Now, what are his heroic abilities? Great question, chat. You're on top of it. You're doing it. We are gonna have a hard time showcasing one of them, just because of the way that try mode is situated. But first, we'll take a look at Sulphurous Smash. This is another skill shot. You are going to hurl your hammer into the target area. It's going to land after a 0.75 second delay, which isn't too bad. It's going to deal 434 damage on impact, but enemies in the center area are going to take triple that damage and are stunned for 0.5 seconds. So you get a little mini stun as well as a cataclysmic amount of damage. Now, does he have spell shield in any capacity? I don't think he does. So let's see how much this hits Arthas for. How much health does Arthas? Let's get a squishier enemy hero in here. Let's go for someone like let's go against Gazlowe. That'll be fun. Now I will say that this is my least favorite of his heroic ability choices. I just want to make that very clear. I do think it could come into play really well with characters like Kerrigan. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. And again, that's on a 60-second cooldown. I think that could come into play with characters like Kerrigan, who are going to be locking people down. Diablo got a significant amount of changes in this PTR patch as well. We could see that comboed really well with him. And just basically anyone who you can reliably move someone on the enemy team into a position, maybe even Dahaka. Dahaka got some changes as well. You can have really, really massive amounts of impact with this ability. It's definitely the team fighting ultimate of the two. But his other heroic ability is the one that I like a lot more. That's because it does everything. This is Lava Wave. Release a wave of lava from Ragnaros' core that travels down the targeted lane. This means on a 3-lane map, you could be, let's say this is the bottom lane down here, right? We could be in the bottom lane and say our team's pushing over here, but oh no, there's a lot of minions up in top lane and there's someone pushing. What do we do? Well, we don't have to travel up there to defend that. We simply, we can either use our minimap or look to it, select that lane, and then use Lava Wave. And this massive Lava Wave is going to travel through the lane, killing every minion in its path. Completely stopping the entire push that the enemy team could have had. Flubadub, thank you for sponsoring the channel. I appreciate the support. I know I haven't streamed in a while, but it still means a lot to me. Enjoy the top hat, sir. So, it's basically a way to it can be used in a team fight too, right? I mean, you could use this in a team fight, but it's basically a way to completely stop counter pushing on a map without having to move out of position for it, which that in itself is very, very strong. Now this one does have a 100-second cooldown because it's so damn good. You can't use it all the time, whereas Sulfurous Smash has a 60-second cooldown, so that's pretty substantial. But let's say there's just a team fight happening up here in this lane. I used this several times on our stream yesterday on Squadron, trying to get something like this to work. When a team fight starts, I would just start the lava wave in the lane. I would start to move forward, and you know what? We could probably kill a Gazlo pretty easily. Now, the enemy team does get ample warning that this lava wave is incoming. If we go ahead and take a look at the mini-map here, I think I have a screen zoom just for that. If we go ahead and take a look at the mini-map here, you can see the lava wave is on the map. It's going in. It's, I mean, they could see that on their map too. You know what I'm saying? It's not a surprise. They'll be able to move out of that if they're paying attention. But it also puts that pressure on the enemy team as well, where if you are fighting in the middle lane and you have this coming towards them and this fight is just raging on, there's only so much time they have before they have to move. And, you know, some people just won't do that. Some people just won't move. What else? This does give you XP for everything that you kill in the lane as well, because of course you are killing it with a spell. So this can also be a way to soak XP without having to move to a lane to get it. At least that's how it worked in the BlizzCon build. I'm assuming it still works like that here. So yeah, out of the two, I think Lava Wave just does everything and does it really well, and it would be my go-to in most situations. If we go ahead and start to take a look at his talents, there's one build that really emerged for me, and coincidentally also emerged for Moonfair as well, to kind of be what the dominant go-to pick is going to be. So I'll walk you through that as well. Although we will go over every talent. So Sulfurous Hungers. Every time you kill a minion with Empower Sulfurous, which again is only on a 4-second cooldown, so it should not take very long to do that, its damage is increased by 1 up to 30. After killing 30 minions, increase its damage by an additional 120. Let's go ahead and set our level down to 1 so we can, you know, realistically see how hard that would be to pull off. I don't think it'll be that bad. I don't think it'll be that bad. So like this little guy right here, there's one. Oh, it's a 4-second cooldown. We can kind of soften up the back line. It kind of feels like we're playing Azmodan at this point, right? We'll soften up the back line. And then that would not take very long at all to build up. Remember, this is only a 4-second cooldown. You'll be able to cast this all the time. Especially if you have a support character in your lane, especially if the enemy team maybe doesn't have a strong laner pushed up against you. That'll be really, really, really easy to do. At least I think so. But I also come from a background of playing a ton of Azmodan and stacking all the time. So definitely an option at level 1. Then we have Shifting Meteor. Hit 50 heroes with Living Meteor. After hitting 50 heroes with Living Meteor, its duration is increased by 2.25 seconds, and the ability can be recast to change its direction once per cast. So there's a level 20 upgrade for Medivh called Medivh Cheats that kind of interacts very similarly to this ability. Now it says you have to hit 50 heroes with this. That's its wording. And that is nowhere near accurate. I actually think this needs to be changed just for clarity's sake, because as you can see, we already have 7 stacks of this. All it needs to do is damage a hero 50 times, any hero. So if we can get Gazlo to run away, again, that's when this is going to be the most useful. Now that he's running away, we just put that in line with him, and we continue to generate stacks as he's running. We're at 11 now. So it may sound like it's really, really, really hard to get that massive number of stacks, but in reality, it's not that bad at all. Even doing things like that, we got, I think, 7 stacks there, or 5 stacks there, something like that, when he wasn't even moving at all. So that will add up pretty quick. Is there a way to like... Okay, we'll just wail into this thing for a little bit. Where's a good spot to put this? We'll get up to 50. Because I want to show you the interaction that it actually has. It says that it has a longer duration, This also means that it has a longer travel speed as well, or travel distance. So we can actually hit targets from a very, very long range with this bad boy once you get it recast. And again, it works like Medivh cheats, where you can retarget this ability once per cast. This is my favorite of the tier, and it has a lot of really, really good synergy with the rest of his kit, or the rest of his talent, so he can continue to build up. And it allows you to kind of, if the enemy member thinks that they can dodge you, you can just kind of keep retracing this boulder directly onto him, which is pretty strong. Remember, this does have a 12-second cooldown normally, though. Then we have Engulfing Flame. I don't recommend you take any E talents at all. I'm not going to lie. Engulfing Flame. Blast Wave's cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds, and its radius is increased by 15%. So it goes down to an 8-second cooldown, which is a little bit more in line with Empower Sulfuras. You can still get 2 Qs off in the time it takes to cast 1 E. And the radius of its Blast Wave, that it's going to do a whopping 112 damage at level 2, that radius is going to be increased by 15%. Does that radius matter? Abso-fucking-lutely not. It doesn't matter at all. It does not matter at all. At level 4, we have Fire Ward. When Living Meteor hits an enemy hero, gain a charge of Spell Block, reducing damage from the next enemy ability by 50%, and you can hold up to 2 charges. Now, as far as I know, the Spell Block doesn't actually go away. We can just hold on to this for a while, so all we need to do is hit Gazlowe. And then you can see we have 2 charges of Spell Block that just kind of sit here indefinitely. So that's just going to increase our survivability, especially versus, you know, mages. Burst heavy characters like Li Ming or something. And keep in mind, you can cast this ability from a really far distance. So, and it's going to increase once we actually complete the quest again. I did reset my talents. So this allows you to kind of poke at an enemy team, get this survivability, and then move in once you have it and be a little bit more aggressive. But there's, I mean, really the only limitation to getting this is your ability to aim a skill. You can go it for... You could use it from such a long range. The other options at this level, we have Slow Burn. Blast Wave slows enemies hit by 40% for 2 seconds. Okay, we're getting a little bit more utility here with the E ability. Is it still worth picking up? No. Because a slow is never going to be as valuable as damage mitigation on an assassin-style character, at least in my opinion. Catching Fire at level 4. Gathering a regeneration globe increases your health regeneration by 2 up to 30. After gathering 15 regeneration globes, you can activate Catching Fire to gain resistant for 3 seconds, reducing damage taken by 25%. I have not tested this talent at all. It seems a little unnecessary. We already have a heal on our Q ability, and we're going to heal for more versus heroes. So this would give us more health regen, and damage resistance would kind of scale into auto attack heroes as well. So maybe if you don't need the spell shield, this would be the way to go. I don't know. It's going to require a little bit more testing. As of right now, I kind of think Fire Ward is better in most situations. I think so. We'll see. I think it could go either way. Slow Burn, fuck no. There's no reason. Then at level 7, we have Hand of Ragnaros. If Empower Sulfuras hits at least 2 enemy heroes, it restores 10 mana. Its cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. This seems okay. Dude, this Gazlowe just dies. Look at him. Seems okay. The range of your Q isn't that bad. So I could definitely see some scenarios where you're able to hit a couple heroes at one time. You'd have to be really, really deep in the hero lineup, though. And Illidan has a talent where if a sweeping strike hits 2 heroes in 1 W, then he's going to gain a ton of fucking damage. But the difference is that Illidan's kit is also based around like complete mobility and damage mitigation. Whereas Ragnaros is not going to be... Ragnaros doesn't have that. Ragnaros is significantly easier to kill than Illidan. So I think in most cases, this would have to be a combo you do with like a mosh pit. It would have to be done with like a Graviton Surge or a Graviton Bomb, you know, a Kerrigan pulling things in. Someone has to set that up for you to be super reliable. Because in most cases, if you run in super aggressive like that, it's going to be in a 5v5 and you're probably going to get focused and killed. That's what I think anyway. Now so basically it could work, but it's dangerous is what I'm saying. And then on the flip side, we have Molten Power. Each enemy hero hit by a living meteor increases the damage of the next living meteor by 15 up to a maximum of 75. Now, this is increased damage from utter safety, right? So what this does, we have a little icon next to our Ragnaros picture down here. If we cast this ability, you can see we get one charge. This one charge increases the damage of our next living meteor by 15%. And again, that caps off at 75%. So if by some fucking miracle, we can hit everyone on an enemy team, probably with the same wombo combos that we already talked about, then the next one we throw out after that, what is he doing? Yo, Gazlo. Buddy. What the fuck are you doing? Come on, you gotta. There has to be someone that can do something a little bit better than that. Anyway, this is kind of the same where it requires more setup, but you're going to be able to get at least one target every time you W, or at least you should be able to. And then you're just going to deal more damage the next time. Especially if your build is based off of this skill set. If your build is based off the meatball, you're going to be pretty well out. You're going to be doing pretty good. Superheated, when Blast Wave is used on Ragnaros, it deals 100% increased damage. Well, now we're talking. But it's still on 8-second cooldown at best case scenario, and you're also... Why are they all dying? Fuck! I don't know. I don't think it's that... I don't think it's that good. I really don't. Lava Wave is my ultimate of choice at level 10. Then we have Cauterize Wounds. Empower Sulfuras to heal for an additional 60% of damage dealt to heroes over 2 seconds. Now, this is a tier where I think you have a little bit of freedom no matter what you want to do. I like the healing, but keep in mind it's only damage dealt to heroes, so you need to make sure that you're not using it on minion wave. Again, it's a 4-second cooldown on your Q, so you're going to be able to use it all the time. But it is important to make sure that when you really need that healing, you use it on a hero. Tempered Flame. When Blast Wave damages an enemy hero, gain a shield equal to 100% of the damage dealt. Well, even in the best case scenario, your shield is going to be completely fucking insignificant. So you're better off going for Cauterize Runes. Those were some words I said there. They just weren't the right ones. Don't worry. And then you have Resilient Flame. When stunned, gain resistance for 3 seconds, reduces damage taken by 50%. This one is very, very strong. There doesn't appear to be any internal cooldown for this at all. So if you're going against a CC heavy team, if you are stunned, you're going to take 50% less damage, which is really, 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 really good. Now, if you're in quick match and you go up against nothing but assassins, then I would probably recommend Cauterize Wounds, just so you could heal a little bit more off of enemy heroes. But that being said, Resilient Flame is great for characters like this Kerrigan here, who would be trying to stun me the entire game if she does manage to land that combo. The entire premise of Kerrigan is that she bursts you down with the combo. If we take 50% less damage from that combo, then we might be all right. Now, I don't know if it kicks in after the stun, or I don't actually know if it would mitigate that damage, but who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? I guess hold on, let's be fair and balanced. Let's not be biased. I guess with Tempered by Flame, 100% of the damage dealt. Okay, let's think about that actually. If we walk into a minion wave, it's gonna deal 2. So that was what, 1,000 damage? That's probably 1,000 shields, right? Let's test it. Let's test it. I need a new minion wave though. This one just won't do. I need a big one. But maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I jumped the gun on that. Let's see. No, it's that bad. It's that fucking bad. It's really that fucking bad. It didn't do anything. Is it to heroes? Does it say specifically to heroes? Oh, it's only to heroes. Never mind. Never mind. I take it back. Yeah, that's garbage. No, I wouldn't pick that ever. So let's go for cauterized wounds in this particular scenario. Okay, I take it back. Maybe the only time this would be good would be versus a Samuro. Yeah, that's awful though. I don't. Why is that there? Then at level 16, we have Giant Scorcher. Empower Sulfuris burns enemy heroes for 9% of their maximum health over 3 seconds. This additional damage does not heal Ragnaros. So it's this giant killer based around his Q. It's going to deal damage up until the point that you can Q again and just keep that damage going. I do think his Q build could be fine, actually. Living Meteor explodes at the end of its path, dealing 502 damage to all enemies. Keep in mind, if we did have this quest completed, then we could redirect this bomb to make sure it does explode on a target. And that's kind of hard to illustrate unless we wanted to reduce all of our cooldowns again, which, I mean, I guess doesn't take too very long. What are we at right now? We're at 17. That was a bad one. That was a bad one. That was a good one. So with this, it allows you to kind of guarantee extra burst damage on a target if they don't move. Kind of hard to see versus Kerrigan because she does have so many shields. But as she's running away... Oh, we missed. Kerrigan! There we go. Really good. And the radius on it isn't like huge or anything, but you could still pick off backline targets like Morales, which is really strong. If you want to poke at their healer, you can do that really easy with this ability. But keep in mind it is on a 12-second cooldown. The other option at this level is creates a second blast wave after the first. Woo! Yeah! That's what it needs! Kind of funny. It's kind of really funny how exciting his Q talents are, how exciting his W talents are, and then how underwhelming his E is. I don't get it. Then at level 20, we have Lava Surge. We're going to have 2 charges of our Lava Wave ability. So you can do stuff like this. It does have a small cooldown in there. I think 5 seconds. But let's say we're on a 3-lane map in this scenario, and we're trying to push middle. We could put one middle. Then, oh no, top's getting pushed. We can put one top. And again, remember, you're going to be getting XP for every minion that you kill here, based on what I played at BlizzCon, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. I don't know if that's actually in the game right now, but at BlizzCon it was. And this is just another way that Ragnaros can help completely snowball his team. Once you're ahead on XP, he can keep you ahead on XP every 100 seconds. He gets, ideal scenario, he gets 3 waves of minions minimum with this cast. 3 easy waves of minions minimum. That takes them out of the game and allows your minion waves to push drastically further than they would be able to without having to go over there. Perfect. I mean, that's the normal scenario you want to aim for. And you can do little tricks with that where if you're looking at your keep, or we'll assume this is the core, you would want to wait for your minions to spawn because, of course, enemy minions spawn at the same rate. So right when these guys pop out, we know the enemy team's minions are popping out, and then we want to hit them right when they spawn. So you want to do it right now. And then that basically stops every minion wave on the field and allows yours to push significantly farther. And you can do this twice. It's just really fucking good. That's all there is to it. It's just really good. The other options at this talent tier we have. Heroic difficulty. Molten Core has a 50% increased health and damage, and its cooldown is reduced by 50 seconds. This is situationally good. So on maps like Towers of Doom, where you're always going to be fighting near a keep, this is really, really strong. It's going to cut the cooldown from 100 seconds to 50 seconds. We can hop in here. And by the way, you can use your heroic ability in this if you wanted to, so we could still log away. But we can hop in here, and the duration of this is going to last significantly longer as well because we have more health. We have 14,000 health in this bad boy right now,
Hero of the storm.
which is crazy. Like we could sit in here for a long time. Imagine this duration. How long does it last with, does it say? 18 seconds, but we have more health. I'm assuming it's more than 18. Maybe it is only 18 seconds. Maybe I misspoke. Oh, you could count, right? Is there an in-game clock? Hold on, we'll use OBS. Oh, might help if I... Okay, we're using OBS to count. I'm in here at 37:22. Look at it, look at me. Oh, the Ragnaros and I'm angry. Oh. It's been, I said 37:22. It's been 20 seconds. It's almost 30 seconds. Almost 30 seconds. It's like 29, 28, something like that. So, again, situationally good on maps where you're going to be fighting really, really close to buildings. Now, it is worth mentioning that I can't show it in try mode, but if this was a normal map and we pushed in and we killed their keep or their fort, I would be able to take over their fort. Like, that's definitely something I could do. So keep that in mind, too. So on smaller maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen, probably pretty good there as well. Because if you're pushing in with your waves of spiders, you're always going to be in close proximity to the enemy team. So please keep that in mind. Then the other talent we have is... the Submerged. Ragnaros submerges below, entering stasis and healing, excuse me, for 1480 health over 3 seconds. So this is like Ice Block. We've seen that before. You're going to become immune, and then you're going to heal for a lot. The immune part is like Ice Block. The healing mechanic is a bit unique to... Ragnaros. I don't think anyone else has a healing stasis. Pretty sure. All right, here we go. That's pretty substantial. Now, you are giving up a lot of utility to have that, so I guess you would use it in a situation where you have absolutely no faith in your healer's ability to keep you alive. That does have a 90-second cooldown, though, so it's not like you're going to be using it all the time. Oh, Dahaka can heal in stasis. You're right. You're right. But Dahaka's stasis doesn't heal him defaultly. There's a talent for it, isn't there? And then he can activate his trait. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Seems a little underwhelming when compared to these two, but situationally, again, I think it's pretty good. And that's something we're starting to see more and more often with heroes, where the level 20 choice is usually there's a lot of pretty good stuff. A lot of pretty good stuff at level 20. If we did go for Sulphurous Smash, the other option would be Flames of Sulfuron. Sulphurous Smash slows enemies by 50% for 2 seconds, and enemies in the center are stunned for an additional 0.5 seconds. I believe that brings the total stun duration up to, yes, it does, 1 whole second. So you can go in, and we're going to trade with Kerrigan here, and she'll never know what hit her. That really is a massive amount of damage, and then when she runs away, we kill her with a meatball. Is Sulphurous Smash good? Abso-fucking-lutely it is. Is it better than Lava Wave? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, what build would I recommend you try if you're jumping into the Nexus for the first time with with the first time with Ragnaros? I would say something that looks a little bit like this. I think I'm gonna go for Lava Surge. I would go for, at level 1, Shifting Meteor, and really focus on stacking this as fast as you can. Really easy tip is when you see someone stationary, put the ball so it impacts them when it falls down. Because it's gonna take a few seconds to start, or like half a second to start rolling, and you want that initial impact to actually be rolling on top of that character. Now that can be hard to do, but you'll get it with practice. And playing with like quick cast or on release will significantly improve your ability to do that. You just want to make sure it lands right on top of them and then has to travel through them. And you can really stack that up quite quickly. Level 4, I would go for Fire Ward. I think the spell damage reduction is going to be useful in more situations, but catching fire definitely seems to be a decent option at that level as well. I would go for Molten Power in almost every situation, especially after you upgrade the Shifting Meteor. Once you're able to redirect the Meteor, it's going to be so easy to get more stacks of this Molten Power. And if you can go in and deal more damage on the next... Oh, we need to do testing, actually. Hold on. We need to stack this up real quick, team. If you can go in and deal more damage on the next meteor in the middle of a team fight, that's going to be really, really, really good. Now, what we need to test is, does the explosion deal more damage if we have more ability power? That's important to know. So, I need to hit Kerrigan. Okay, so there's one. So that's 15% more damage on the next one. We just need to get the end of this meteor to hit that target dummy and see if it does more than 543. No, it did 543, so that doesn't affect it. That's kind of lame. There's not synergy there. I guess for good reason, actually. Makes a lot of sense, actually. Anyway, so this is going to allow you to increase the damage of the rolling of the ball, not the explosion at the end that we're getting later on. I've already gushed over this ability enough, but Lava Wave is just so good. It's just so good. Cauterize Wounds is, I think, what I would go for in most quick match settings. Just because the odds of an unorganized team keeping you stun locked is not very good. But Resilient Flame is a ton of damage mitigation. And if it looks like the enemy team has a lot of stuns, then you should absolutely pick that up. There's no reason not to. Meteor Bomb for the damage explosion at the end. It's going to take... that might be a little hard to actually line up consistently. So if that's a little too difficult for you, Giant Scorcher can do a ton of damage as well, especially versus high health enemy teams. So Giant Scorcher definitely a good option there. If you can't quite get the explosion on the meteor to line up properly, like I said, it will take some getting used to. I missed Kerrigan there. And that is on a 12-second cooldown, so it does, you know, it's kind of important that you land that, you know? So keep that in mind. And then at level 20, I would opt for the second wave of Lava Surge. Unless we were on a small map like Towers of Doom or Tomb of the Spider Queen. And I think this would be the build that I recommend with those caveats. If you wanted to go for a more melee-focused build, let's see what we can come up with. You would obviously go for Sulphurous Hungers, because you can add a ton of extra damage onto that, and we already demonstrated that the stacking of that is not very difficult at all. Again, I think it's still the same priority. If they have a lot of mages, if you're afraid of burst damage, I would go for Fire Ward. If not, Catching Fire seems fine. Let's test that out, actually. How long is the cooldown on that? It's 30 seconds. 30 seconds on that. For 25% damage resistance. Then we would... this is more situational, right? Hand of Ragnaros is pretty situational. But I think it could do decent damage. The mana return on it seems completely inconsequential. Like, this only costs 25 mana. It's not like you're going to be running out of mana spamming your Q ability. But if you can hit 2 people, I mean, the radius of it isn't that bad. If we attack this guy here, you can see I kind of hit everything in this area, so that won't be too hard to do. I still would pick Lava Wave, but let's say, for instance, we wanted Sulphurous Smash for whatever reason. That could technically allow us to trade a lot better. trying not to spend my cooldowns too fast. I'm trying to be realistic here, even though cooldowns were turned off. That could allow you to trade pretty well. Keep in mind that the cooldown of Empower Sulfurous comes after the auto attack, so you can kind of prime it and get it ready. But you're going to be losing damage by doing that, so I wouldn't recommend that. Then I would go for, again, same scenario, Cauterize Wounds if you don't think they have a lot of stuns, or Resilient Flame if they do. The deal extra damage to heroes seems pretty fucking good. And then with a super melee focus build, I would actually probably go for Submerge in that scenario. But there you have it, guys. It's the first look at Ragnaros. Hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. We're going to end it right here. A through Z Zeratul video should be coming out tomorrow. I have to record it still. I haven't done that yet. Other stuff coming up on the channel. We have I have a Path of Exile video coming out later today. And I have a TGN Squadron stream starting in about 45 minutes. You guys really want to see an E build? You guys really want to fucking see an E build that bad? Okay. All right. Okay. We'll just look. We'll just look at the fucking E build. 2 seconds off that cooldown. Yeah, sign me up. Blast Wave slows enemies. Well, fuck yeah. Blast Wave damage increased when used on Ragnaros. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's gonna take the damage from 228 to 456. Holy shit. So first, smash, because we're already making terrible decisions in our life. We better make better ones. Tempered Flame. When Blast Wave damages an enemy hero, gain a shield for 100% of the fucking damage. No way! And then, oh, we get to create a second Blast Wave. Here we fucking go, team. Oh, yeah. Oh, take it. Oh, the tower's dealing so much fucking damage to you, but look at this Blast Wave. It's so good. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's not that bad. It's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, but, like, you have to be this close to every single fucking enemy you're going against. I don't think that's good at all. Anyway, as I was saying, thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to be on the Squadron channel in about 45 minutes. If you did enjoy today's content, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and